Hello again, YouTube. This is our 2003 Honda Accord with the 2.4 liter 4-cylinder engine, and today we're going to change the serpentine belt. So here's an exploded view of how the belt is routed. It goes around the crankshaft pulley, then around the AC compressor pulley, then around the water pump pulley, the alternator pulley, and the power steering pump pulley, and then around the belt tensioner itself. So to remove the belt, we need to remove the tension by rotating this tensioner out of the way. So looking here on the passenger side of the car, here is the power steering pump pulley, the belt going around it. If I zoom in a bit, you should see the tensioner just down below, and then the bolt right there in the middle of the tensioner. That's what we're going to be using to reduce the tension on the belt. So this is a 14mm bolt here in the center of the tensioner. There's not really enough clearance in here to put a standard 14mm socket plus a ratchet or breaker bar on the end of it. It's just not enough room between it and the engine mount. It'd be better if you used a long box end wrench. I have a standard box end wrench, which is what I'm going to use. That's a 14mm, and I'll just put a cheater wrench on the end of it to give me a little bit of extra room. This takes considerable pressure to take the tension off of here. So let's do it in the correct direction. I need to go this way. Don't let the wrench slide off. Get that lined up. Let's push the tension off like that. I'm going to go ahead and remove it off the power steering pump since I got my hand up there, and then release the tension like that. Now I got the belt off. I was planning to remove the belt off of the idler pulley down here on the tensioner because there's no lip, but I was able to reduce enough tension so that I had enough slack to get it up over the lip on the power steering pump. That worked just as well. Now we can just work the belt off of each of the pulleys and get it out of here. It's pretty tight quarters, but twisted a little bit. Going to work it now down off of the crankshaft pulley. Here it comes. Off the alternator. It comes off of the water pump, and then deep down there on the AC compressor. And there it goes. Now we want to compare the old with the new and just make sure we got the right length. Just double check, and those are the same. I just took the idler pulley off and used a wire wheel on it just to kind of clean up some of the debris that was on the surface. That's why it looks a little funny. But in spinning it, it seems a little like it's getting a little bit noisy. And there's a little bit of play when I rock it back and forth, so I'll be looking to replace that bearing probably pretty soon. But let's just get this belt back on for now. So back to the diagram, I'm going to start again at the crankshaft pulley and come around this way, lastly around the tensioner. So looking deep down now beside the engine, there's the crankshaft pulley right in the center of the screen. We're going to come across to the AC compressor pulley, which is right down there in the middle, then back under the water pump pulley. Here's your water pump pulley. And then we'll come over top of the water pump pulley and over to the alternator here, and up around the power steering pulley, and then back down there. This can certainly be fiddly and require some patience. And I'll run the end down there, kind of see if I can work it just from a distance here. It's nice that the belt has a little bit of stiffness to it. You know what? I think I'm going to reach down from below and see if I can get it around that crankshaft pulley to start. And that certainly was much easier to reach down in front of the front wheel and just get it hooked around the crankshaft pulley to start with. Now I'll work my way forward Get it under the AC compressor. Now I'm on the AC compressor pulley. Next is to come across and under the water pump. All right. Now we can come over the alternator here. I'll finish up with the power steering pulley since that's easier to get to from the very top. And I'll route this behind the tensioner for now. Now with the belt and all the grooves of all the pulleys in the right place, I'll put my wrench back on the tensioner bolt, all the way seated on the bolt. A cheater wrench on top of this wrench. Sure wish I had a longer one. And now, in one motion, pressing the tensioner now all the way, get it all the way over. It slipped off the tensioner pulley. There we go. And then take the tension spring back. Inspect the belt, make sure it's around every pulley. The grooves are all in the proper place. Looks good. Double checking one last time. We can see the crankshaft pulley and the belt around it centered right on the center between the grooves. Looks good there now around the AC compressor pulley. Also over the big water pump pulley and back around the alternator, power steering pump, tensioner. I think we're ready to start it up and see if it runs okay. Alright, looks to be successful. Alright, sounds like we're good. So what I was listening for immediately was to see if the belt may have potentially slipped off a pulley or caught on something or squealing, and I had my hand on the key ready to shut it off immediately, but sounds like we're good to go. So that's the procedure for replacing the serpentine belt on this, the 2003 Honda Accord. It should be the same on all 2003s through at least 2007s with the same 2.4 liter 4-cylinder engine. It's a good maintenance item to do. If you take the belt and you kind of turn it back on itself and kind of squeeze it like that, and if you get cracking in the ribs, that's a good sign that it needs to be replaced. I went ahead and replaced this one because we were getting some noise, some squeaking. I think it's most likely the bearing on that tensioner pulley, but I'll address that at a future date. These belts aren't too expensive. They'll probably cost you, between 20 and 40 bucks. And that's a maintenance item you can do yourself. Why pay somebody else to do it? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.